Welcome to Check Your Leader TV. Today we're going to have a playthrough of the latest and new shiny thing from Two Fat Lardies, What a Cowboy. Now I've set up a table here, and what I've done is I'm going to just have a quick playthrough. I haven't picked this, I'm not going with a scenario out of the book per se. I've really just set up a table and I've put down some cowboys and we're going to just have at it. This is the sleepy little town of Broken Wheel, and we have some notorieties in this town. Let's just say good guys and bad guys. So first of all, we're going to look at the good guys, and the good guys consist of Wyatt Earp, this fella here, and Doc Holliday, this chap here, and they're going to be going up and I've made them both legends according to the statuses that you can pick from in What a Cowboy. So they're both going to be legends. They're going to be going up against four outlaws. We've got on the right, as you look at it, Frank McLaury. He's going to be classed as a greenhorn. And then next we have Curly Bill Brocious. He's classed as a gunslinger. Next to him we have Johnny Ringo, a legend. And then finally Billy Clanton, a greenhorn. So a legend, a gunslinger, and two greenhorns against two legends. So you can see I've essentially picked characters from reality. Both gangs come to a grand total of force morale. Well, they've got a total points of 12 each, and their force morale rating is 6. I've deliberately made Frank and Billy greenhorns because I'm simulating the fact that they've been on the booze during the day, and so they're a little bit liquored up. And so their reactions aren't going to be what they would normally be, as if I had rated them as shootists. So look at the Cowboys first, starting left to right. So we have Billy Clanton, and Billy is we rolled on the Cowboy table for him, just one dice, and he ended up with no skills. Next along we have Johnny Ringo. Now he is a legend, and Johnny Ringo, I just picked what I thought would be appropriate backgrounds for him. So I've got him down as an outlaw, and he has the skills of Deadeye and a trick shooter. Next, Curly Bill. I've classed him as a gunslinger, and he has nerves of steel. Again, I picked an outlaw for him, and finally Frank McLaury. Frank is just classed as a greenhorn, and he did get born in the saddle, but in this particular scenario, I don't think that's going to be much good to him. Mind you, he might jump on a horse, who knows? So he has the skill of born in the saddle. So let's have a look now at the good guys. Now I've also given Curly Bill the skill of being ambidextrous. So that means you can use two pistols at once. Both pistols may be fired using one shoot dice when shooting at the same target. These shots may not be aimed and are made with a -1 on the roll to hit, but you do get obviously two shots, and just one dodge roll is made. And for the good guys, I've gone with two legends. We've got on the left, as you see it now, that is Wyatt Earp. Legend, he is classed as a Deadeye and a quick draw. And then on the right we have Doc Holliday. He's classed again as a legend, and he has nerves of steel, and he's a trick shooter. Everyone's armed with 6 shooters, but Doc Holliday also has a shotgun, and Curly Bill, he has 2 pistols for this encounter. Okay, now it's going to be just a straight up shootout. Obviously, there's some bad blood between these guys. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just start off with a shootout right in the middle of town. Okay, so we're good to go. I have given out Desperado cards for each character, and they'll be revealed as we progress through the game. Okay, so the first card out is Wyatt Earp. Okay, so let's roll his 6 dice, see what he can do for himself. 5, 5, 4. Okay, no movement, no. He can spot and he can do a lot of shooting. So we might go straight with that. So it's over 12 inches, down range. So he's going to need a spotting dice, which he has that. Now he is a legend, so he can change up to 2 dice, I believe. So Wyatt Earp has 1, 2, 1, 3, 2 4s and 2 5s. So Wyatt's going to use the spot dice, so because these guys are 16 inches down range from him, so 16 inches away. So he needs 1 spot because it's over 12 for a pistol. So there's the 2 gone. And then he's going to aim 3 times and shoot twice. Now, actually he's going to aim 3 times, shoot, and then reload straight back into the chamber. Okay, so that's what he's going to do. So he's going to be shooting all up with a +2, I think. I'll just check. So we go through the shooting table, and so Wyatt's got 3 aim dice. So he's a pistol or sawn-off shotgun at 4 or less. That's not him. Over effective range, yes. He's firing over 12 inches, so that's -1. But he gets +1 for each aim. So -1, +3 for a grand total of +2. Now, Johnny Ringo ain't no fool, so he's going to use one of his Bonanza tokens and attempt to interrupt Wyatt Earp. So he'll play a Bonanza token. Wyatt, in response, he'll also play a Bonanza token because he thinks he's got this guy on a bit of a bind. So they're both going to play a Bonanza token, which will lead us to a situation where we have a quick draw. Okay, so Johnny Ringo will be the black dice, Wyatt will be the red, and Johnny Ringo has won the fast draw. So Johnny Ringo will fire first. Now, what means he's using a Bonanza token, so he's -1 of his usual hand of dice. So we normally have 6, but now he's going to respond with just 5. Okay, he's rolled a 6, 2 5s, a 2, and a 1. Now, Wyatt Earp does have the quick draw skill, and that does give him a +1 on any quick draws, but unfortunately, 6-1 ain't going to help. So Johnny Ringo is going to use the 2 to acquire the target, which is Wyatt. He's going to aim twice and fire, and then he's going to move. So he's going to be shooting with a +2. Actually, he's shooting with a +1 because he has 2 aim dice, but the target's over 12 inches. So +2, -1, +1. So +1, +1, that's a grand total of 2, so that is a miss. Okay, so with that in mind, Johnny Ringo is now going to run for cover, and he's going to run in behind that black horse that's tethered out front of that construction site there. So he's used the 1, 2 dice movement, he's rolled an 8. 8 inches will easily get him behind that horse. Okay, so that leaves Wyatt with his dice. Now, he still has 4 dice left, so he's going to convert one of those aim dice to a 2 because he hasn't used it yet. So rather than converting it to a 3, he's going to convert it to a 2. Or, that's an interesting dilemma. Can he do that? Once he's already decided what he's going to use with them, use them as, can he convert them back? I'm going to say he can, because he hasn't used it. And this could be incorrect, but I guess we will find out in due course. So, he needs a 2 to acquire. Better still, he had a 2 from before. Is he less than 12 inches away? Let's have a look. He is. So the 2 still counts. So he'll still get a +3. So he's now going to shoot at Johnny Ringo with a +3. So he fires at Johnny. Oh, okay, that's a critical. Now, Johnny Ringo might be able to dodge. So he can dodge on a, because he's got cover, he can dodge on a 4, 5, or a 6. And he needs this, otherwise he's going to suffer critical hit. And he's rolled a 1. So Johnny Ringo has not been able to dodge, and he takes the shot from Wyatt Earp. Now we have to roll to see what kind of critical hit it is. 3. A critical on a 3 is in the chest. It's 1 shock, and he's lost 2 dice. So on reflection, it was probably a foolish thing to do for Johnny Ringo to use that 1 to actually run forward, because it actually closed the range. And if the target is between 12, is less than 12 inches away, or 12 inches away or less, you don't need a spotting dice. So you only really need 1 spotting dice, and that is for the fact that he was behind cover. So if he had run off in this direction, well, he might not even been seen at all. But Johnny had a bit of a rush of blood, thought he closed the range, actually came in close, discounted the dice that was required for being over 12. And as a consequence, the 2 that Wyatt Earp was using to inquire him over 12 simply became the spotting dice that he needed to acquire a target behind cover. Okay, so that concludes that turn.
Oh, I forgot to note that because Johnny Ringo failed to dodge and he actually rolled a 1, which is a stumble, that means he has actually 2 wounds and 2 shock in his shock pool. So that's 2 wounds and 2 shock.
Okay, so the next card that comes out is, well, it's Johnny Ringo's. Okay, so we're going to roll Johnny's dice now. He's only got 2 that he can roll. He's rolled a 2 and a 2. Now, the good news for Johnny is he can convert 2 dice. So he's going to convert 1 to a 1 to remove the pin. And then he's going to turn the other 4, the 2 into a 4, so he can have at least a shot. Or he could change it into a move dice and then run for cover. He's decided, well, the dice god have decided that he's actually going to have a shot. It won't be aimed. He doesn't need to acquire because Wyatt Earp is in the open. So it's just going to be a straight D6, no pluses, no minuses, because the range is about 11 a bit inches. 4, he's fired and he's missed. Start out. 2 hearts. Okay, it is Doc Holliday. Okay, so Doc's dice now. Okay, it's not a bad roll. Okay, so Doc is going to attempt to rush down towards, it's pretty ballsy, but this is what he's going to do. He's going to use his first move dice to move 2d6 directly towards Johnny Ringo. And he goes a big 11 inches. Okay, so that's substantial. So straight down towards so that's his first one used. Now what he's going to do is he's going to fire his shotgun, both barrels, at Johnny Ringo. Okay, so as Doc Holliday comes tearing down to finally dispatch Johnny Ringo, Curly Bill is going to play his Bonanza card. Okay, so in response to Curly Bill playing his Bonanza token, Doc Holliday is going to play one of his Bonanza tokens as well. So we have another situation where we have a quick draw. Curly Bill is a gunslinger and Doc Holliday is a legend. So Doc will have a +1 bonus. And Doc is going to be the red dice. Even with a +1, Curly Bill gets the drop. So Curly Bill will roll 4 dice. So it's his normal hand -2 if you're a gunslinger. Okay, that's a cock dice. Okay, pretty good roll for Curly Bill. He's got a 3, 6, 6, and a 4. Okay, so he can aim. He's a gunslinger, so he can change one of those 6s to an aim as well. So he will. He's going to aim twice. Oops. So that's 2 aims. And then he's going to shoot. And then we'll see what we do with the other 6 after he's done that. So 2 aims, and the range is 5 inches. Well, it's over 4, but not 5, so 5 inches. Now, the other thing to consider is Curly Bill has 2 pistols, so he can fire both simultaneously, so that would give him 2 shots, but with a -1 on each shot. So that's what he's going to do. So he'll fire 2 shots with a grand total of +1. Okay. Okay, so 2 shots, +1 on both. A miss and a miss. So he's fired 2 times with the pistols, and both rounds have missed. So now he's got a, still got a 6. He could fire 1 more time, and he will. So he's going to fire 1 more time, but this time no pluses, no minuses. Oh, and he's missed again. All right. So now it goes over to Doc Holliday, and he will continue with his move with the 1, 2, 3, the 5, and the 6. Now, there were 3 near misses though, because what we have here is we have Johnny Ringo, who is within 2 inches of Doc Holliday, and if you fire a miss and you've got someone within 2 inches, they could get hit by stray bullets. So we roll them now. So there were 3 shots, 3 misses, and he's rolled a 3, a 4, so they're nothing, and that 6 is an enemy character is hit, but there's no enemy character within 2 inches, so that's a miss as well. So now we go back to Doc and continue with him. Now he's got a shotgun and he's got a pistol. The first thing he's going to do is he's going to fire. He's going to fire 3. He's going to discharge his shotgun directly at Curly Bill. So he's using the 5 as because that's a shooting dice, and he's going to fire all 3 barrels at Curly Bill. You can't aim with a shotgun. You get 3 shots, and he's got a wound and 2 misses. So now we see if Curly Bill can dodge. 5, and he is successful. So he dodges. Okay, so 2 cover within 4 inches. That's going to get him behind the barrels here, and he has a pinned marker on him. Now, I'm just editing this post-game. I forgot to take into account that Doc Holliday has the skill of trick shooter, and that reduces the target's dodge roll by 1 when shooting at 12 or less. So in reality, the only way that Curly Bill could have dodged that shot by Doc was if he rolled a 6. And he didn't, he rolled a 5. But you know what? He was shooting with a shotgun, so maybe trick shooter really only applies if you're shooting with a pistol. But anyway, by the letter of the law and according to the rules, with a trick shooter, he would have actually hit Curly Bill, and Curly Bill wouldn't, because Curly Bill wouldn't have been able to dodge unless he rolled a 6. But it does show that you really need to make sure you keep a close eye on your various skills and traits that your gunfighters have. The 2 near misses from the shotgun, obviously Frank and Billy are both within 2 inches. So we'll see if a near miss strikes Frank. 1. Yeah, Frank, you can't dodge a near miss. So Frank McLaury has got one of his action dice will be put into the shock pool. So he'll be down to 5 dice when his card comes up. Roll for the miss on Billy, and it's a 3, so no near miss hit on Billy. So that leaves Doc still with a 1, 2, 3, and a 6. And because he's a legend, he still can convert 2 of those dice to anything he wants. So he's going to use a 1. Oh, actually, what is he going to do now? He probably wants to finish off... so he's going to use the 1 to turn to face Johnny Ringo. And then he's got a queen of spades. I've got 6 more bullets, so he can immediately reload his weapon. So he's going to do that, and then he's going to use the 6 to fire at Johnny Ringo. It's going to be a +1. You can't aim or anything like that, but +1 for the shotgun. And he's rolled a 1, 2, and a 1. So he's managed to miss Johnny Ringo with the shotgun, and he's standing there out in the open. Okay. So after all that, Doc still has a 2 and a 3. Now, he hasn't converted any of his dice yet, so he can change them into anything he wants. And obviously, he's not going to just stand there. Before we resolve Doc's other 2 dice, there is this townsfolk person, this individual here, that is within 2 inches of Johnny Ringo. And so we have to see if the near misses from Doc Holliday's street howitzer hits this civilian. So 3 misses. He's the only guy within 2 inches. 1 is, it doesn't hit. Okay, 1 hits a friendly character or town. So this guy is just shot. And townsfolk, they can't dodge. They're not shocked. He's down, and that's bad news for Doc and Wyatt Earp, because that gives them a bad reputation rating. So if this was part of the campaign, well, they've just earned themselves 1 point worth of bad reputation by blowing away an innocent civilian. Okay, so Doc's going to take the 2 and convert it into a 1 for movement, and he's going to attempt to run into this building that's under construction. He rolls all of 1, so he goes 1 inch, and so he's going to take the other dice, the 3, and convert that to a 1 as well, and attempt to run into the again into that building. And he's moved 2 inches this time, which is not going to get him very far, but it does put him behind the horse. I wonder if I should roll to see if the horse loses its mind at this point. Well, to be fair, the horse is tethered to that hitching rail, so I guess it's difficult for the horse to go anywhere. Let's see who's the next card out. 4, and that, I'm pretty sure, is Frank McClary. Okay, so Frank is the next man out. Now, Frank, like we said, he's got a one of his dice is in the shock pool, so he's only going to be rolling 5 dice. Okay, so we'll roll Frank's 5 dice. Okay. 1, 2, 2, 2, 6. All right. Okay, so Frank McLaury's going to use that 6 to recover the shock dice from the shock pool. So he'll be able to use that in his next turn. He can't do anything with the 2s, but he's going to use that 1 to do movement. And what he's going to do is he's going to move towards this corner of this building here, with a view to maybe getting a shot towards Doc Holliday and also getting himself into cover. So with that in mind, okay, 11 inches, a pretty good move. So he'll get all the way over to here and behind this young lady who is probably going to get the hell out of Dodge, or in this case, broken wheel. Okay, so the next card out is Curly Bill. Okay, so Curly Bill's behind those barrels over there. He's got 6 dice. He is a gunslinger, so he can change up to 1 of them. So he's got a 1, 2, 2 3s. Oh, sorry, 2 2s, 2 3s, and a 4. What he has to do is he has to use a 1 to remove the pin marker, so that's the pin off. He can convert one of these 2s into a move dice, so he's going to move, and then he'll have a spot, an aim, and a shoot. So he's gonna rush out into the center of the road there and try to get a shot on our mate Doc Holliday. So 10 inches. Okay, let's see how far that gets. 10 inches have got him to a pretty good position. Okay, so there's going to be, no one can play a bonanza token at this point because everybody's played one this turn that can. So the two he doesn't need to acquire or spot Doc Holliday. He's going to aim twice and then shoot. So he gets a +2 for the 2 aims, plus another +1 because he's inside 4 inches with a pistol. So +3, and he's rolled a 1. So he's missed. Now, again, 2 inches within, within 2 inches of his target, there is a friendly. There's also a horse. So if he rolls a 1, he'll hit. He'll hit his own fella. If he rolls a 6, he'll hit the horse. He's rolled a 3, so he's missed completely. So that's Curly Bill. That just leaves Billy, if I'm not mistaken. So the final card is, Billy Clanton. So it's just Billy. Now, Billy has not got any shock on him whatsoever, so he'll roll his 6 dice. So here's Billy's roll. Okay, not a bad roll. He's got a 1, 2 3s, 4, 5, 6. All right. Okay, so he's going to use the 1. He's going to move. He's going to run to try and get around on the other side of Doc Holliday. And he goes 9 inches, so that's not going to be a problem at all. So he gets right up to here. Okay, he's got 2 aims. He could aim 3 times and shoot twice even. So that's exactly what he's going to... Actually, no, 2 aims. That's a +3 all up anyway. He'll save the 6. So 2 aims. And then he'll shoot. Okay, so it's a +3 because close range and 2 aims. 3 + 3 is a 6, so he could wound Doc unless Doc can dodge. Now, Doc Holliday will dodge on a... He's in the open, so he's a 5 or a 6. Oh, and he's rolled a 5. Okay, so he'll dodge into cover. Now, being a legend, he can dodge forward if he wants. So he's going to dodge into this building here. Okay, there's not much cover, but it is some. So he's managed to dodge the first shot. Okay. Okay, so for Billy now to attempt to shoot there at Doc Holliday, he needs to have not only 1 spotting dice because Doc is in some type of cover, but he also Doc's pinned, so you need another one. So he would need 2, so he can't spot him. So what he's going to do is he's going to use the D6 and change that to a move dice, and he's going to move back towards try to get on these stairs or onto the stairs here and into cover behind this part of the building. So 1d6 of movement. He only goes 2 inches, so he gets it back here, and that little boy is he should get out of the way because he's going to get himself hurt. So Billy's still got the 5, so he'll use that to reload. So at the end of the first full turn, the situation is we've got Johnny Ringo has lost 2 dice permanently due to that chest shot, and he's also got 2 dice in the shock pool, and no one else is carrying any wounds, and the only other thing of note is that Doc Holliday's shotgun is now empty. And I should point out, I've given Curly Bill the ambidextrous trait so that he can use both pistols much more effectively. Okay, so we've shuffled up the deck, and the first card out for turn 2 is Frank McLowry. All Frank's dice now. All right, he's got a 2 aim dice, so 1 spotting dice, 2 aiming dice, and 3 shooting and reloading dice. Well, Frank, the low-down scoundrel that he is, he can actually get a line of sight to Wyatt Earp there. Wyatt's within 12 inches, so he doesn't need a spotting dice, and he's in the open. But he does have 2 aim dice and 3 shots, 3 shots if he wants them. So what he's going to do, he's going to aim and shoot, and then 1 shot unaimed. But before we do that, what we do have to do is we have to react and see what this young lady does. Now, because there's someone within 1 inch of her, let's see how she conducts herself. She's rolled a 2. Run for your lives. The town folk move away from the direction of shooting or the character. Move 2d6 directions towards the nearest cover. All right, so the nearest cover is going to be behind Frank. So she's going to go, that one's cocked, 7 inches. So she's going to diddly bop out of harm's way. 7 inches, and you can't blame her. So she's gone off over there. Now, as for Frank, like I said, aim, shoot. So it's at this range, he's just going to get a +1 because it's within 12. So just +1 for the first shot. That's a 4. That's a miss. +1 for the second shot. That's a 5. Okay. Okay, so Wyatt needs to dodge. He's in the open, so only a 5 or 6 will do. It's a 4, so he's failed to dodge. He could re-roll it, but it's only a shock at this stage, so he's not going to attempt to use a bonanza token to re-roll it, so he will just simply take 1 point of shock. And now Frank will fire his last, and this last shot is unaimed, so it's just a straight dice roll, and it's a miss. So 3 rounds expended, and Wyatt has 1 point of shock on him. Okay, let's see who's next card out. Well, it's Doc. Doc Holliday. Okay, so Doc's currently hunkered down in here. We'll roll his 6 dice. Okay, what have we got? We have 1, 1, 1, 3, 3, 5. Okay, let's see what we can do with that. Okay, so he's going to use 1, 1 to remove the pinned token. He's got 2 aim dice there. There's really no point in using aim dice when you're going to be firing a shotgun, double-barreled. So he's going to take both of those 3s and convert them into 4s or 5s and reload the shotgun. So now he has reloaded the shotgun, removed the pin token. He's going to use the 5 to now discharge the shotgun, both barrels, at Curly Bill. Now, I think I missed this last time, but a shotgun firing up to effective range, because it has buckshot, it gives a +1 on the, I think it's a +1 on the critical hit table. But it does get a +1 for firing up to 9 inches. So he's got a +1 there, and he'll fire 3 shots with a +1 on all 3 of them. Okay, 3 shots, +1 on them all. Okay, 6, a 5, and a 2. So the 2 is a nothing. The 6 becomes a critical, and the 5 becomes a wound. So Curly Bill's going to have a wound, and he has to roll on the critical hit table with a +1 on it because of the buckshot. Oh, but before we do that, we could be wasting our time here because we have to see if Curly Bill dodges. Now, more bad news for Curly Bill. He's in the open, so he normally would dodge on a 5 or a 6, but because Doc Holliday is a trick shot, he can now only dodge on a 6, which he succeeded in doing. Okay, so Curly Bill will be able to dodge that hail of buckshot, and up to 4 inches into cover. Now, because he's a gunslinger, he can dodge into any cover, even forward. So I think the nearest cover for him will be the horse. So that's where he's going to dodge to. So he's dived in behind the horse, and he is immediately placed as a pin marker placed on him. Now, there was one shot that missed, and that within 2 inches of that line of fire to Curly Bill puts him, poor old Johnny Ringo, in the line of fire. So again, with a shotgun, it's a +1 to the near miss table. So in other words, a 1 or a 2 is equal to a 1, and a 5 or a 6 is equal to a 6. And he's rolled a 6. Okay, a 6 on the near miss table. So a 6 does hit an enemy character. So Johnny Ringo has suffers another point of shock because you cannot dodge near misses, and it's an automatic point of shock. Now that near miss on Johnny Ringo is going to see him with 2 permanent dice lost due to wounds, 3 shock dice, and he has simply 1 dice available for him to roll. So that leaves Doc Holliday with the 2 1s. He's going to use one of those to obviously run directly to the rear of this building that's under construction. So let's see how far he goes with his first move. 7 inches. That'll get him to here. And he's got one left, so he'll go 1 more D6. He's going to try to go out the back of this building and head around towards those stairs. So let's see how far he gets to go with his final D6 movement. Another 5. So Doc Holliday, any given time, he can be quite nimble and quick on his feet. So Doc has exited the building that's under construction, and he's now at that point there. So that ends Doc Holliday's turn, and let's see who the next card out is, and it is Wyatt Earp. Okay, so Wyatt Earp has 5 dice to roll because one of his dice are in the shock pool. So let's roll his dice now. Okay, so a 6, he's going to use that to pull one of the dice out of the shock pool, but he won't be able to use it in this phase, but regardless, 4, 4, 3, and a 1. So he doesn't require, well, he needs a spotting dice to acquire Billy because he's over 12. He needs a spotting dice to acquire either Johnny Ringo or Curly Bill because they're in cover. And he also needs a spotting dice to acquire Frank McLowry. So from where he is, he needs at least 1 spotting dice. So he can convert one of the 4s into a spotting dice. So now he can either spot Billy, because he's over 12, these 2 chaps because they're less than 12, but they're in cover, and the same with Frank McLowry. Shooting at Billy's problematic because he would have to shoot that young lady there. So Wyatt's not up to doing that. He could possibly get a line of fire onto Johnny Ringo and Curly Bill, and also he could get a shot at Frank McLowry. So with that in mind, he's probably going to... He'll try to shoot Curly Bill. So he's used the spotting dice to acquire Curly Bill. He's going to aim and fire with a +1 for the aim. And he is, so it's just a straight up +1, and then he will move. Okay, so +1 to hit. 4, so he has missed. So that's another round out of the chamber. You forgot the one in the chamber. And that leaves him with a 1. With a 1, he's going to move, and he will move to cover. He's going to try and move in this direction over here. He'll try to get to that point there. 7 inches. And he easily does it. Getting close to the lady cleaning on the steps there. How does she react to having this burly man approaching her? 5. She doesn't really react at all. Oh, hang on, let's have a look. With a 5, frozen with fear. Shocked, curious, or simply frozen with fear. The townsfolk remain where they are. So, yep, that ends Wyatt Earp's turn. The next card out is Curly Bill. Now, Curly Bill has 1 permanent wound and 1 shock, which means he can only roll 4 dice. So that's what we're going to do now. But it's a pretty good roll. 6, 6, 1, and 2. So the 1 can remove the pin token. So that's that taken care of. He's got 2 6s, which can be anything he wants, and a 2 is an acquiring or spotting dice. Well, one of those 6 he's going to use to pull back one of the dice that's in the shock pool. So he's got that back. So at least he's back up to 5 dice now. That leaves him with a 6 and a 2. How far is Wyatt Earp from him? Well, 12 inches. Less than 12. So he doesn't have to, he just needs to be able to spot, which he can, and shoot. That lady's in the way, but not completely. There is some room to shoot at Wyatt between that lady and the building. So it's a bit of a tight squeeze, but Curly Bill can get that shot in there. So here it is. No pluses, no minuses, just a straight roll. And he's rolled a 4, so he has missed. So that takes us to our next card out of the deck, and that is Billy Clanton. So Billy's got a full hand of action dice, so 6 dice, and his roll is, let's have a look here, 2 1s, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. All right. Okay, so Billy is going to use the first 2. He's going to move from here and up and around those stairs and up the stairwell, and he goes 4 inches. He's going to use, he's halfway up the stairs, but he's going to use the other one to go move again, and he wants to get to the edge. Okay, and that will get him to there, and then from there he can actually get a line of sight onto Doc Holliday. So then he's going to use the 3 and 2, sorry, the 3, the 4 and the 5 to aim and shoot twice. But before he does that, Doc Holliday is going to use his Bonanza token and interrupt. So we'll roll Doc's 5 dice. And he's got a 1, 2, 2, 2, and a 4. Okay, so the way it's going to work is Doc's going to change 2 of these 2s into reloading the shotgun. So the shotgun is reloaded. He needs a 2 to spot because Billy's back slightly from the edge of this, so he is slightly in cover. He'd only be visible from about the chest up. So he needs a spotting dice. He is then going to shoot, discharging both barrels, so rolling 3 dice with a +1 on all 3, because you get a +1 with a shotgun and buckshot under 9 inches. So let's see how he goes now with his three dice. And he's missed with them all. So he's fired and rolled a 2, a 2, and a 3, which becomes a 4. So the 1s become 2s, the 3s become 4s. So Doc still has his 1. He's going to use that to move. Clear line, completely out of line of sight. So he's going to try and run down here and then along behind that building as far as he can go. And he moves 4 inches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's run down to there. Okay, so that's Doc's bonanza token used. That just leaves Billy with his 2, 3, 4, and 5, but really no one to shoot at and no movement. So that ends Billy's turn. Let's see who's next out. Well, unsurprisingly, the final card out is Johnny Ringo. Ringo is in a pretty bad state. He only has 1 dice to roll because he has 3 in the shock pool and 2 wounds. He gets a 6. Unsurprisingly, he's going to use that 6 to recover 1 of his shock dice from the shock pool. So next phase, or next turn, he'll have 2 dice to roll. So at the end of the second turn, the situation is we have Wyatt Earp. He has 5 rounds in the chamber and he still has a bonanza token. Doc Holliday, his shotgun's empty. He has no bonanza tokens left, but he does have his 6-shooter, but he would need a 4 or 5 to discard the shotgun and draw the pistol. For the bad guys, we have Curly Bill with 1 wound and a total across 2 pistols of 9 rounds. Johnny Ringo's carrying 2 wounds, 2 shock, and he has 4 rounds in the chamber, but he still has a bonanza token. Billy Clanton, he's in fine fettle and 6 rounds in the chamber. And finally Frank, again, no shock or wounds, but only 3 rounds in the chamber. So with that said, we're now going to shuffle up the deck. And we'll just cut it there. And the first card out will be Curly Bill. So Curly Bill with the wound, therefore he only has 5 dice. And he rolls 2 1s, 2 3s, and a 4. Now being a gunslinger, he can change one of those. Let's see what he does. Oh, the thing that I forgot to do at the end of the last turn is we've got to do the townsfolk reaction roll because it was the end of the turn. So we're going to roll for this young lady again. And she's rolled a 1. Have a go, hero. Roll 1d6, inflicting a shock on a 5 and a wound on a 6. The character may dodge. Then move. Okay, so she's pulled out her a weapon of some description. And she's going to have a go at Wyatt Earp. So if she rolls a 5 or a 6, she's going to wound Wyatt. She's rolled a 2. No, she's had to slash it in with her mop, and now she's going to move d6, 1d6 away. Oh, sorry, 2d6 away from Doc in a random direction. So she's going 9 inches straight down that way. All right. So 9 inches gets her all the way down towards the windmill. Or could it be the thunderbox that she's heading for? Either way, she's decided to go elsewhere. So with that now taken care of, we're going to get straight back into Curly Bill's phase. Okay, so the first thing Curly Bill's going to do is he's going to run towards these women with a view of using one of them as a human shield. So that's the first one, and so he moves 2d6 for a grand total of 8 inches, which will easily get him to this female. Now, Wyatt Earp is going to use his Bonanza token, his final Bonanza token, to interrupt Curly Bill as he runs across before he gets to the young lady. So about here, and then he is going to try and deal with that unscrupulous chap. So Wyatt Earp will roll 5 dice because he is a legend, so he just drops 1. So here's his 5 dice. He has a 5, a 4, a 4, a 1, and a 1. So he's going to convert the 2 1s into 3s, and he'll shoot with a 4 and 2 3s. So that's going to be 2 aimed shots, or shot with a +2, because he's 9 inches away. So that'll be a +2 to this roll, and then depending on how that plays out. And he's rolled a 6 +2, 8. That's critical. Now, Curly Bill might be able to dodge. So he'll do his dodge first. He dodges on a 5 or a 6. And he does. And he will dodge into cover. Now, the nearest cover 4 inches away is... well, so it's to the side of the trading post there. Now, it's not strictly, I wouldn't say that is much cover. Well, it doesn't have to be a lot of cover. He can just basically run up and hustle up and lean up against that wall. The added bonus is those women are in direct line of fire from where Wyatt Earp is to Curly Bill. So Wyatt can't really shoot, otherwise he'd be hitting those women. So his next 2 shots are going to be completely wasted. Curly Bill is dodged up against the wall of the trading post. He has a pin token on him. And now that ends Wyatt Earp's Bonanza roll. And so that just leaves Curly Bill to continue with his move. Now he has a 1, so he's going to use that 1 to take away the pinned token. That's the first thing he's going to do. Now Curly Bill has not converted any of his dice so far, and as a gunslinger he can do that. So he's going to take one of these 3s and he's going to convert it to a 1, and he's going to move towards these women and continue with his original plan, which is to take a human shield. So he's going to try and grab this woman here first. 5 inches, so he makes it. So he rushes forward and grabs this girl. Now we have to roll on the townsfolk table to see how she reacts. Okay, so she's rolled a 4 and a 4. So with a 4, she's basically seized. Now that means that she will move with Curly Bill, and he'll be classed as moving in difficult going as long as he's got her with him. And he can only shoot with a single aim, so he can never have more than 1 aim dice. But he has an aim dice and he has a shooting dice. And however, he doesn't have a spotting dice. Now, is he in cover? I would say he's not in cover. From that angle, he's not hard up against the wall. So it's going to be a single aim shot now. So it's just a single +1 for Curly Bill shooting at Wyatt. And he's rolled a 1. So he has missed. Crime doesn't pay, especially when you're taking hostages and the like. Okay, so the next card out is Johnny Ringo. So Johnny Ringo is down to 2 dice because he's recovered 2 from the last roll, and he rolls a 4 and a 2. Now, being a legend, he can convert them to anything he wants, So basically what he's going to do is he's going to use a spotting dice. Doesn't need to change that. And he's going to use a shooting dice. He doesn't need to change that. So he's going to have a shot at at Wyatt Earp, as long as he is less than 12 away, and he's just under 12 inches. So Johnny Ringo will have a shot. So there's Johnny Ringo, there's Wyatt. He needs just one shot, no pluses, no minuses, and he's got a 5. Now, can Wyatt Earp dodge? He'll dodge on a 4+, and he does. So he just dodges back out of line of sight behind the hardware store wall. So the next card out is, wow, it's a good run for the Cowboys. 3, which is Billy. There he is up on that wall there. Sorry, on those stairs up there. So he's got 6 dice. And so let's grab them now and roll to see what he scores. His activation dice are pretty good. 6, 6, 5, 5, 2, 4. Okay, so Billy's going to take the first 6, convert it into 1. He's going to try to move down the stairs and around this way. He's going to go hunting for Doc Holliday. So, two movement dice. Oh, all of 2 inches. All right. The other 6 will continue the movement. Oh, 3 inches. So all he succeeds in doing is getting down the stairs. He is feeling pretty, what's the word, cautious. I really can't do anything with the remaining dice in that hand, so really nothing's come of that. So the next card out. So the next card out is, well, it's Doc Holliday. Let's see what Doc's got. He's got a full hand of activation dice. So 6 dice for Doc. Let's roll and see what he gets. Okay, 2 6s, 2 5s, a 2 and a 3. Man, that seems remarkably similar to the last one. Well, Doc is going to use the 5 to... No. What he's going to do is he's going to use one of those 6s as a move dice, and he is going to move through this building here, this building that's under construction, using 2d6. And he goes a grand total of 7 inches. Which will get him to that window that is being made inside that building. So that's where he's got to with 7 inches. Okay, the next thing he's going to do is he's going to reload his shotgun. Then he is going to fire at Johnny Ringo using the 6. So that's 3 shots plus 1 because it's close range. Okay, so that is going to be a wound and a critical. I don't even need to roll on that, I don't think, but we'll check and see. Where is the critical hit on Johnny? 4. Critical hit on Johnny is a headshot. Okay, 2 permanent and 1 shock. That is going to basically put Johnny out of the fight. First, Johnny might be able to dodge. Now, unfortunately for Johnny, he can only dodge on a 5 or a 6 because he's not in cover, because he's not behind that horse. And because Doc is a trick shooter, he can only dodge on a 6. Fortunately for Johnny, he does have his bonanza token. So if he fails a dodge, he can use it. So the first dodge, he needs a 6. He's rolled a 5. So unfortunately, he's going to play his bonanza token and re-roll that. And he fails. So unfortunately, it's bad news for Johnny Ringo. Now, Johnny Ringo does have the King of Clubs. That does downgrade one of the wounds down to simply a shock. Regardless, though, 4 wounds and 2 shocks. He's lost all of his dice, and which means he would ride for the hills if he was capable of doing so. But with a headshot and a chest shot and a couple of shocks, he's in a pretty bad way. Yeah, it's like a grand total, I think, off the top of my head, he's got 4 wounds that are permanent and he has 3 shocks. So he's way past holding on to any dice. So that's Johnny Ringo out of the equation. Okay, so that leaves Doc with the 3 and the 2. Now, he hasn't converted any dice yet, so he's going to convert that 2 into a 5. So he's going to switch from his shotgun to his pistol, and then he's going to use the 3. He's going to convert that into a 4 to have a shot, and he's going to try to shoot Curly Bill in the back from here. Now, it's a 45-degree angle from a window, but that's not really a window, is it? It's just a whole bunch of planks of wood and what have you. So he's going to try and shoot Curly Bill in the back. It's just a straight dice roll, no pluses, no minuses. 4, and he's missed. Okay, that just leaves 2 more cards to go. The next one out is, well, it's Wyatt. Now, Wyatt has no shock on him, no wounds, and so he's going to roll, well, come back here, sucker, 4 dice. And he has a 5 and a 5, a 6, 2 4s, and a 2. Okay, so Wyatt Earp is going to use the 6 as a move dice, and he's going to try and close the range to Curly Bill. 10 inches, that's going to get him very close to Curly Bill. So close that he's at point blank range. Curly Bill is using the female as a human shield, so he's always got that going for him. Wyatt is going to use both of these 5s as an aim dice. So that's going to be a total of +3. And then he's going to shoot. He does need the spotting dice because he's classed as cover. And then he's going to shoot with a +3. And that's a 6. So Curly Bill has to attempt to dodge. And if he's so he's successful on a 4, 5, or a 6. 2, so he fails to dodge. So he takes the wound. The civilian breaks free. And now Wyatt will shoot again with a +1 for close range, and misses. Now a near miss could strike this civilian here, and doesn't. It completely misses everyone. But that is going to be a wound for Curly Bill. But before we do that, Wyatt's going to use this Desperado card that he has, and he's going to re-roll that final shot where he missed. Let's see if he gets a hit this time. No better. So that's a miss. We don't have to re-roll the results of the miss. We already did that. We just wanted to see if he missed. So Curly Bill Brocious has taken another wound. Now Frank has got a 3, a 4, 5, 5, and a 6. So he's going to aim and use 2 of these 5s as he's going to aim and shoot, and he'll still have a 5, 5, and a 6. He could aim twice, and I think he will. So that's going to give him a grand total of +3. 2 for the aim dice, and 1 for being point blank range. Okay, so a +3. Okay, that's a 5. So that is going to be a shock. We'll have to see if Wyatt dodges. 5 or a 6. He does. So that means Wyatt will just go to ground right there with a pin token on him. And Frank still has 2 shots left, and he has 2 rounds left in the chamber. And he's going to fire both of them now at Doc with a -1 for the pin, but a +1 for the range. So it's basically a straight die roll on 2d6. Let's see what he gets. Oh, wow, a critical hit and another, sorry, not a critical, it's just a wound and another shock. And Wyatt cannot dodge, so he takes a wound and he takes a shock. So that ends the turn. So we have the civilian here that's very close. So we have to do that town folk's reaction. A 6. Okay, frozen with fear. So she and her little girl are just going to stand there. We have another civilian, the little boy who was frozen with fear last time. 2. He's going to leg it, so he's going to head off. There are no other civilians nearby, so we'll just let that boy run off. That's the end of the turn, and now we have to do a ride or die test for the Cowboys. So the young lad went off 8 inches in that direction, and he's running directly, I suspect he's running home. Okay, so now we have to do the ride or die test, because they're 6 points down because of the loss of this poor chap, Johnny Ringo, and there are 2 points of shock on actually, yeah, it's equal. So they've lost 6 points, so they're at their halfway mark for their they're at the halfway point for their force morale. They're exactly on 6 from 12. So if it's equal to or below, they'd have to do a force morale test, a ride or die test as they call it. So basically you roll D6 or equivalents, that number of D6 equal to the rating of the senior character, which in this case will be Curly Bill. So Curly Bill gives us 3 dice, and we need at least 1 6 on these 3 dice to stay in the fight. And they have it. So they're going to hang in there and keep fighting. So now we move on to the next turn. We'll shuffle up the deck and we'll come back. Okay, so I've shuffled up the deck. I've taken the 2 for Johnny Ringo out. And I'm going to cut the deck. And then we'll draw to see who is first out. And it is Frank McLary. Okay, that's worked out pretty well for the Cowboys, but not very well for Doc. For Wyatt Earp. A 6, a 5, a 3, 3. Okay, lots of aims. Okay, he's just going to try and plug him with 1, 2, 3, 4, a +5. The only way he can miss is if he rolls a 1. And he'll still have the 6 up his sleeve. So, +5 to the roll. Well, that's critical. So he's plugged, it's +4 because he is pinned. So +4 to the roll, 6 is a 10. That's a critical. Wyatt cannot dodge. He's just lying on the floor getting brassed up. What is the critical that he has? A 6. Boot Hill. He's dead. Wow. So Frank has come out of nowhere and plugged him. Oh, that's right. He was empty, so he had to use that 5 to the 6 was to reload, and with 1 shot at a +4, and that is the end of Wyatt Earp. So Frank calmly placed one more round in the chamber, a single shot, and just drilled poor Wyatt. Okay, whose card's out next? Well, it is Curly Bill. Now Curly Bill has 2 wounds on him, so he can roll simply 4 dice. One, 3, 3, and a 4. I'm going to use that first one to advance on Doc. So he's going to try to run into this same building 4 inches. So that gets Curly Bill to there. He's going to convert 1 dice. He's going to convert one of these 3s into a 2. So he can acquire, which he can. He's going to aim and then shoot. But he also has the King of Hearts, so he will get an additional shoot dice for this turn. He could use his ambidextrous trait. If he doesn't use the ambidextrous, he will fire 1 aim shot with a grand total of +2 because he's within 4 inches. And then 1 shot at a +1. Or he can fire all 4 shots at just no minuses, no pluses. So I think we're going to go with the ambidextrous thing because that seems to be more in keeping with his character. So 4 shots. He can't use the aim dice. He is at close range, so he will get the +1, but he gets a -1 when using ambidextrous. So 4 shots, no pluses, no minuses. Okay, so here's the 4 shots, no pluses, no minuses, just straight dice rolls. Wow. That's 2 wounds and 1 shock. But can Doc dodge them? So he's in cover, so he'll dodge on a 4+. 4+. He does. Now, that will mean he will just go pinned. So, that concludes Curly Bill's. Okay, Doc. Okay, now Doc has no shock. His shotgun is unloaded, but he does have 6 dice. He is a legend. He might be able to pull something out of the fire here. Okay, a 6, 1, 1, 1. Well, lots of movement. He can convert any of those. He can convert up to 2, and he's got a high aces high dice. So 3 to play with, and 3 that he's stuck with. Okay, so he's going to take 2 1s and turn them into 5s or 4s, and he's going to reload his shotgun. He's then going to move towards Curly Bill with 2d6, and he goes 4 inches, which gets him right there. He is then going to fire the shotgun. Both barrels, 3 dice, with a +1 on all 3 of them for the buckshot. Okay, so these 2 are misses, but that's the 5 becomes a 6, which is a wound, unless Curly Bill can dodge. Curly Bill is pretty much in the open there, so we'll only dodge on a 6 because he's a trick shooter, so he doesn't dodge. So that's another wound for Curly Bill. And then a 6. He could draw his pistol, or he could reload 1 barrel at one tube in his shotgun. He's going to draw his pistol now, but he can't do anything else because he's already converted 2 dice for the reload. But he has got a 1, so he will use that 1 to move away from Curly Bill. So he's going to move back into back this way towards the back of the building, and he goes 6 inches.
which is right at this back door. Okay, so the next card out is Billy, and obviously the final card would be Wyatt, but he is no longer with us. So Billy has got 6 dice. And he's rolled 2 1s, a 2, 2 5s and a 4. Well, for the first one, he's going to rush into that that building that's under construction and try to close the range on Doc. And he goes 8 inches. Okay, so here's Billy's first shot, +1. Okay, so that's a wound. Can Doc dodge? He's in the open. I'll say it's a 5 or a 6 he needs. He's not dodged, so Doc is wounded. So that's 1 wound. His next shot, again, +1. Oh, this is a critical. Can Doc dodge this one? No. What is the critical hit that he takes? 5. Okay, that's not good. A 5 is a gut shot. 1 shock and 3 permanent. Okay, so that's a grand total of 4. And the final shot is a miss. Okay. Now, Billy has got 1 more shot to go. Used as an additional shoot dice in the current activation. So he is going to fire 1 more shot at with a +1. And it's a 4, so it's missed. So, but poor old Doc is in a bad way. He has 4 wounds, which means he will only be able to roll 3 dice. Okay, and that ends that turn. And I think it's safe to say that at this stage, Doc would ride for the hills. Wyatt's down. He is dead. Johnny Ringo is severely wounded and would have to roll on the recovery table to see if he actually survives. Doc is in the same way. He might not survive. Curly Bill. Curly Bill is in a pretty bad way also. He has 3 wounds. But funnily enough, the 2 greenhorns, Frank and Billy, not a scratch on them. So, what a rip-roaring game. So we're going to wrap it up there. Please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. I'll do another video in the not too distant future where I'll share my thoughts and on What a Cowboy and do a bit of a rules review. Other than that, as Saloon Girl Ginger would say, I'll see you around. Bye for now.